In the last episode, we successfully created a script that we can automatically extract subscriber counts from YouTube and given any channel. Now in episode 4, I want to teach you how to collect the same information but for multiple channels in one single script and do that at once. In order to do that, we need to use something called a list. A list is just a collection of stuff. In our case, it would be a list of YouTube channels to collect data. And when we have a list, we can then ask Python to do something over and over again, but with different subjects every time. So to give you an example, let's create a simple list. And let me comment all of the code from last episode. We can have a list called we need to give a name to our list. Let's call it company underscore list, right? And we assign some value to this list. Let's call it, since we are dealing with companies, Apple will be our first one, and then Microsoft will be the second one. What about the third one? Let's do Amazon. Amazon will be the next one. So now we have a list with 3 elements in it, and what we can do is simply loop through a list. That's one of the main reasons why we want to have list, is that we want to loop through a list. And to loop through a list, what we need to type is for is the keyword for looping through a list. For what? For every item in our company list. And here it's very important to put on a colon behind our list. And then when we hit enter, most of the editor will automatically help us create an indentation here. And what it does, in fact, let's do that ourselves, right? Colon, and then what you need to do is to tap on the keyboard to create a indentation for Python, so it will know what to do with items given to repeat actions for this loop operation. So let's simply do some printing here. Let's print item, and what we are expecting is Python to print out every item in the company list one by one according to the orders. And let's try that and see what we get. As we were expecting, we get Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon one by one. Without typing print 3 times, it does that for us by looping through the list. So that's basically how a list works. But getting back to our task, we are looking to do more than printing items in the list, but we can keep our list here. And let me cut that, paste that back on top. That's the list we are trying to go through, and we're trying to get every single subscriber count from YouTube for every of those company, right? So how do we do that? We need to loop through every single element in this list, and as I told you, you need to do a for loop. So again, the keyword is for item in whatever list you are trying to loop through, and then put a colon there. And for the actual action you are trying to work on, you need to do indentation for Python, so it knows which block of code to repeat given any object. And by the way, that printing starting index and ending index is not important for us at this point. Let's delete all of that, and all we care about is 5 lines of code here. And let's select all of those, hit tab, and it will automatically help us indent the code out. And there's a blank line there, delete that. So let me see what we are missing. We have item here, but here down there in the line 6, we are still referring to Apple URL instead of dynamic generated URL. So what we need to do is delete Apple, but instead we are changing the URL every time when our program goes through the list. So what we need to do is to type item, and the item here is referring to the current item, the list where it's being going through. So this item is the same here, but it's different every single time. The first time it will be Apple, the second time it will be Microsoft, and the third time it will be Amazon. And let's rename Apple URL as well, since it doesn't, although it doesn't really affect our functionality, but let's keep it clean so we understand the code better. And when we come back and revisit our code, we understand what we are doing here. And I believe that is all we need to do in order to get all the subscriber count at once. Let me try run this code. And as you can see, we have 3 subscriber count differently being displayed here. But I already see a problem here. That is, we are not really telling which subscriber count belongs to which company. So let's do a little trick here. Before printing out our response text, let's add one more plus sign and also put on item. And some spacing, some basic, string there to indicate which company's subscriber count it is. So as you can see, for the first time, it will put Apple in this item, and then do a little bit of stylistic string, and then the actual information we want. And now you have the ability to basically do however many company you want at once by just clicking one single button. And we can now basically collect data, multiple companies' data at once really quickly and scale up our code. And I hope you like this video, and I will see you in the next episode.